This is Gregory Bifidis at LawTech Congress, Brussels, day 2. My next guest is, I would hesitate to call him a fixture, but quite well known in the e-discovery ecosystem, having founded and developed and run 2 of the most successful e-discovery companies in the industry, and now having sold them. He's moved on to a trend that seems to be overtaking the legal industry, and that's information governance. Nigel, I know you've had a packed session, packed 2 days, and I really appreciate you coming here to spend some time with us.
Thank you, Greg. It's delightful to see you again. It's a while since we did the last interview.
Information governance, it's getting to the point that people are becoming nauseous. But let me ask you, since you're so involved in it now, what do you think people mean, or what do you mean by information governance?
Information governance is becoming a term being used by all people for all things. What I mean by information governance is the bringing together of 5 disciplines: e-discovery, records and information management, data privacy, cybersecurity, and risk and compliance into a single umbrella within an organization to manage the risk, reduce the costs, and also to provide a profit center for that company.
5 things, okay, highly complex. I mean, each of them have their own identity. But what do you think are the barriers to people adopting information in general, or perhaps adopting some of those 5 elements?
As you say, the 5 elements within the information governance ecosystem are disciplines within their own right. Records and information management, long history. E-discovery, very large and still growing industry. And records and information management has jumped onto the information governance bandwagon. But quite frankly, if they got their act together and their profession wasn't broken, there wouldn't be a need for e-discovery. A lawyer wants information. They'll say to the organization, this is what I want, and they will provide it. So the e-discovery industry has grown as a result of the records and information management industry not being up to task so far. But what are the challenges facing organizations? Cybersecurity is a major one. The number of organizations that are getting hacked on a weekly basis is huge. Most organizations will expect to be hacked at some stage in the next year. They have within their organization their crown jewels, and those crown jewels need protecting. They need protecting, but first of all, they need to find them. What are the crown jewels for this company? What do we need to make money next year and the year after? The intellectual property, the contracts. Do I know where they are? Are they in a secure area? Do I know how to find them when I need to find them? And that needs top-down leadership. And one of the key barriers at the moment for the successful information governance is that companies operate, large companies especially, operate in silos. And all those 5 segments tend to be siloed. And there isn't someone at a high enough level managing and coordinating the 5 areas with information governance into a cohesive and coordinated strategy.
Excellent points. And obviously we could have an academic discussion for the rest of the day, but let's move to the money shot. Can anybody actually make money in information governance?
Obviously, the software providers providing solutions are making money in this, but the companies themselves. I was at the Information Governance Institute conference held in Hartford, Connecticut a couple of weeks ago. A 3-day conference looking at the current state of play of information governance. And one of the things that struck me was how a lot of the speakers were talking about, how do I justify my budget? How do I justify the cost of putting information governance processes and procedures and software into an organization? And very few were focusing on how to actually make money out of it. And I look at one area within an organization, contracts. A contract, once written, has one of 3 options. Either it's just a dead document, it just sits on the shelf, and there's no triggers. And I talk about triggers as Option number two is there's clauses within there which can cost you money. And the other one are the clauses in there which can make you money. And all too often, a contract which has spent a lot of money, a lot of time generating, signing, then sits in a drawer, and no one is actually addressing those triggers. So, organizations have got thousands of these contracts, properly managed, with the triggers properly identified. They can start saving more money, but more importantly, generating more revenue from their current existing assets.
Nigel, always a pleasure, and I regret it's been so long since we did the last video, but I really appreciate you taking the time and joining us today.
Greg, thank you very much, and it's been a pleasure for me as well. We'll speak soon. Thank you.